I had every intention of doing a very nice NPR video and then this happened. Hello everyone, welcome to Plaid and Prejudice, a series that gives me an excuse to buy more clothes and you a chance to explore unreasonable bias. So yesterday, once again, Beauty and the Beast was trending in my social media channels, and this time it wasn't because they've released another trailer, or another clip, or another watered down version of a song that I really love. It was because Beauty and the Beast is apparently going to be the movie with Disney's first openly gay character. I then read a very brief article about how the director Bill Condon had said in an interview that there was not only going to be an openly gay character, but an exclusively gay moment. Whatever the hell that means. Now, doesn't that just sound like the most patronizing thing ever? But it just gets better, because then I read that the character in question is LeFou. You know, the most pathetic character in Beauty and the Beast. From the quotes I found from different articles, Condon said that LeFou was struggling with his identity and that he had an unrequited crush on Gaston, who is awful, and that just sounded horrible. LeFou is a small, wimpy, comedic character that is often quite literally Gaston's punching bag in the original movie. And to hear that he was gonna have some kind of unrequited crush on mega straight boy asshole Gaston was really very distressing. Because that is a very common formula in film to show queerness as sad, pitiful, and doomed. Which is bullshit. I was also upset because of Howard Ashman's connection to Beauty and the Beast. For those of you who don't know, Howard Ashman was a lyricist who worked with Alan Menken on projects like Little Shop of Horrors, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. He was also gay, and he tragically died of AIDS before Beauty and the Beast came out, but it was his last completed project. And he put a lot of his pain and experience as a gay man dying of AIDS into the lyrics of Beauty and the Beast. So when I saw that LeFou was going to be gay and have an exclusively gay moment, it felt real cheap, let me tell you. However, I always do research before I sit down to write a script, and I am so glad that I did. So the interview that has been quoted everywhere in snippets is not the full interview or the whole story. It actually comes from a 9-page Beauty and the Beast feature from the British gay magazine Attitude. This is the magazine that was responsible for this photo shoot with Matthew Lewis. You guys remember? Yeah, that was them. And the story broke yesterday because this is going in their April issue, so it was released on March 1st. I don't understand how magazines work, but that's not important. There was another short article on their website with snippets of the interview, but then also a link to download a digital copy of the magazine for $7. Which I did, and it was a good read. I was actually very impressed with the way Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, and Bill Condon conducted themselves in the interview and phrased everything around these volatile topics. They talked about things that Paige and I love about the movie that are usually oversimplified or overlooked. I learned that Bill Condon is an openly gay man, and he considers himself to be a gay filmmaker. He's apparently wanted to include an LGBT storyline in this project from the beginning, and overall he's very pleased with how well it has fit in the story without feeling like it's part of a political agenda. Though to be clear, it is part of his political agenda as a gay filmmaker to do this. Despite this, he's anxious not to overstate the significance of his film's same-sex surprise. It's a moment, he points out. It lasts 5 seconds. He doesn't want anyone to give Disney or him an award for outstanding gay representation. He just wants it to be the first step of many. And I really appreciate that honesty. You know how quick people are to award Disney for representation they don't give? He also didn't give a lot of specific details about the scene in question because he didn't want to give away anything about the movie, but the article does say that what they can tell us is that LeFou apparently gets a chance to connect with somebody who is also gay. But will Disney duck out by desexing the connection between them? Condon assures us that this isn't the case, as the actor playing LeFou's potential partner is hot. And that's actually a relief to hear. That's one of the things I was hoping the article would answer, because I thought, well, if they do this, then they better give him a wonderful, fine boyfriend. And it sounds like they might. Condon also stressed that this is the version of the movie that will go out everywhere. They will not be editing that scene out depending on where it's released. It doesn't mean everything's hunky-dory. We don't know if Josh Gad is straight. All we know is that he's married to a woman. He could be bi. It's an option. It also seems odd that Cogsworth and Lumiere weren't the choices for these exclusively gay moments, considering how much they act like ex-boyfriends in the animated movie. Paige and I are also convinced that Lumiere is pan, and I just want to see him flirting with everyone in the castle, and Ian McKellen is gay. But yesterday morning, I thought Bill Condon was a straight guy who was throwing in this gay character and announcing it 2 weeks before the movie in an effort to get more people into the seats. I felt like I was being thrown garbage and asked to be grateful for it. I actually felt sick to my stomach thinking about the kind of damage this character could do to a young queer child watching this in the movie theater, especially because of all of the stuff that's going on with politics. My own bias of heteronormativity was wrong about Bill Condon. And I'm actually very relieved that I was. The interview was really great, and if you can, you really should download it or buy it from your local newsstand if you live in Britain. It leaves me feeling hopeful and a bit excited. That doesn't mean it can all go terribly wrong. For example, in 2010, I saw an interview with Jackson Rathbone where, despite my initial reservations, I thought that maybe he could actually do a good job at being Sokka because he was sarcastic and funny. Everyone makes mistakes. Ultimately, I am very glad that I took the time to read the whole interview instead of just going off of the snippets that were bouncing around the internet yesterday. I am interested to see how it plays out, and I am cautious, but actually somewhat assured that Bill Condon knows what he's doing, and that he did not just make something really, truly harmful. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you think that Lumiere and Cogsworth definitely dated and that Cogsworth is still so salty about it. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the whole issue. If you're still concerned or distrustful, I totally understand, that's valid. And subscribe to The Princess and the Scrivener for more Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. The Princess will see you next week. I guess I just have to show you this real quick. Aren't these adorable? They're like little Lego blocks. I made this one. It took me like 30 minutes, but whatever, that's not important.